Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I'm feeling annoyed. I'm feeling a bit annoyed. I spend a lot of time playing games and I absolutely love them, but recently I've been noticing a lot of things that games do that are rather irritating. And I'm not talking about things like incredibly long loading times, terrible graphics, inconsistent frame rates, or any of that rubbish. I mean things that games do on purpose that are really, really infuriating. These are things that I never really used to take much notice of, but of course having played a wider range of games now, it becomes a lot easier to notice when a game does something incredibly stupid. I'll give you one example: cutscenes you cannot skip. That annoys the hell out of me. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against cutscenes. They do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to tell you the story and get you invested into what's going on. Nothing wrong with that at all. But they're kind of only useful the first time you play through a game. There really is no reason to watch the cutscenes a second time, so usually on a second playthrough you'll just end up skipping the cutscenes and diving into the game. But of course, because some games are complete and utter dickheads, you can't just simply skip the cutscenes. No, some games have the audacity, the gall, to make you sit through them against your will. Strangely, it's a lot like when you're at a family gathering and someone thinks it's a good idea to make you watch home videos of all the embarrassing shit you ever did in your childhood. It's around that same level of torture. Now, if it's a very short cutscene, then fine, whatever. I guess that's fair enough. But if it would be quicker for me to get a medical degree and do something productive with my life than to get through a cutscene, let me skip the fucking cutscene. The worst offender for this, in my opinion, is Skyrim. Skyrim is not a game you truly finish. There's so much to do and so many different ways to play that you'll never run out of fresh experiences in the game. I'll tell you what's not a fresh experience though: the opening cutscene. Oh my god, the opening cutscene, okay. Skyrim is infamous for its intro. Well, among other things. But this intro, bloody hell, it goes on forever and it's not even interesting. Hey, you're finally awake. Yeah, and I'm going right the fuck back to sleep, thank you very much. I just want to slay some dragons. God, the amount of times I've been told that that thief over there could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell, I can't figure out with a fucking calculator. That's not the only thing that games don't let you skip. Tutorials also like to hang around like a bad smell. Now, tutorials can also be pretty annoying, but they're necessary. If it's your first time playing a game, you need to know how to do it, especially if said game is not beginner friendly. But sometimes you can't always skip tutorials. Sometimes you're forced to relearn the game you already know how to play. And I mean, come on, how hard could it possibly be? There are only so many buttons on a controller, so even as a first time player, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. But you know you're in for a rough time when an unskippable tutorial kicks off with "use the left thumbstick to move." Yeah, cheers for letting me know, mate. I'm so used to using the right trigger to move my character around. I've never used the left thumbstick like that before. Thanks for the heads up. Are you fucking kidding me? If I could figure out how to buy the shit in game, I think I can manage figuring out how to move on my own. A lot of games also like to throw hints and tips at you, and some of them come in pretty handy. You know, little things like if you press this button while running, you can roll to dodge attacks. Stuff like that's good to know. You take note of those little things and you don't forget them. But then you get hints where you can just tell that they wanted to fill the load screen with something. When they call "press the jump button to jump" a hint, you know they're just desperate to put something on the loading screen. But the hints are never as simple as that. They're always written as if they're trying to reach a word minimum. The action of jumping possesses a variety of uses and applications and is an absolutely crucial skill for every player to master. By applying pressure to the button to which we have designated the action of jumping, your character will perform a jump, which can be defined as the action of using one's legs to lift oneself off the ground and into the air to reach a higher plane of elevation. Performing such a motion will grant the player access to new areas and paths, and will allow them to overcome otherwise impossible obstacles. In this essay I will, it's like shut the fuck up and load the fucking game, you cock. This next thing has always been a problem in games, but it used to be excusable, and that's games with environments and locations that all look the fucking same. Now, back in the day this was excusable. You know, the hardware capabilities of the consoles at the time really limited what developers were able to do, so it was inevitable for games to have repetitive environments back then. But now it's a whole different ballpark. Repetitive environments make me mad. When I play a game and walk in a straight line, I shouldn't feel like I've been walking in circles. The game that made me realise how annoying this is was Fallout 4. Every location in Fallout 4 is the same. Half-collapsed buildings, rusted cars and fences, dead trees and cracked roads. That's it, it's all fucking identical. Open world games are supposed to be interesting, exciting and fun to explore. Fallout 4 could not be further from that if it tried. Could you imagine being given a tour through the Commonwealth? And if you look to your left, you'll see a big grey building that was decimated by the nuclear explosion. And coming up on your right, you'll see a very similar big grey building that was decimated by the nuclear explosion. Just next to that dead tree over there, you'll see a car from around the time the nuclear explosion went off. I'd like to tell you what colour it is, but it's been completely rusted over, much like all the other destroyed cars we passed on the way here. Oh, and this is my favourite part of the tour coming up right here. On the left, you'll see another big grey building that was decimated by the nuclear explosion, but this one is very special, as it is a slightly different shade of grey to the previous two, which is very exciting, don't you think? What an absolute joke of an open world. This last thing isn't annoying because it's inherently annoying, it's annoying because of how excessive it is. In a lot of story-driven games like RPGs or action-adventure games, you play as a main character, and this main character usually has some kind of unique quality or power or is destined to do something. Because of this, the main character is at the centre of everything that happens in the story, which means the game is all about them. Now, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that, it only gets annoying when the game literally does not shut up about you. It's all stuff like, only you can save the world, protagonist. We believe in you, protagonist. If anyone's gonna stop this evil, it's gonna be you, protagonist. We couldn't have done it without you, protagonist. And it never ends. Fire Emblem Three Houses does this a lot. In Three Houses, you play as a mercenary turned professor, and you're in charge of teaching a bunch of kids how to slaughter people and have fun doing it. Somewhere along the way, it is discovered that the professor has the blood of the creator of the world in their veins, and is literally able to wield a sword made out of the creator's bones. It's the professor's job to lead their chosen class to reunite the broken continent of Fodlan. Now this professor sounds OP, that's pretty obvious pretty quickly, but not a single character will just leave you alone. Everyone always has some kind of praise to give. I'm proud to be your student, Professor. Your battle strategy was flawless, Professor. Your skill in battle is unmatched, Professor. You're the best leader we could ever ask for, Professor. You're the solution to all our problems, Professor. Have my babies, Professor! It's completely ridiculous, and it's made even more ridiculous when you remember that the Professor is a silent protagonist. They don't say a word. Another game that's a bit excessive with praise is Skyrim. You know, I'm starting to wonder if these things are common in games or if Bethesda is just bad at making them. Anyway, in Skyrim, your character is literally the best at everything. You're the Dragonborn, so you're the only one who can defeat Alduin. You're also able to become the Harbinger of the Companions, the Archmage of the College of Winterhold, the Guildmaster of the Thieves Guild, the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, the hero the Dawnguard needs, a high-ranking officer in either the Imperial or Stormcloak army, the Thane of every single hold in the game, the champion of every Daedric Lord, and every step of the way you are praised and praised and praised. And the funniest part is that you're a custom character who looks dumb as fuck, doesn't say a word other than "ah" when you fall off a roof, stumbling around Skyrim trying to run up mountains, running away from giants because they're too strong, getting lost in Dwemer ruins and struggling to run because you're carrying too many dragon bones. This character does not deserve praise, so shut the fuck up! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I encourage you to leave a like and click that big red subscribe button. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. Also, leave a comment about some of the things that you find annoying in video games. And I've run out of things to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.